It's Dee Dee on the spot.
Welcome to another episode of DD on the Spot. As always, I'm your host, Ryan Johnson. Before I get to my guest here today, I'd like to remind everyone that if you enjoy this content, please subscribe. We greatly appreciate it. We have Kat Rogers. She was a gymnast. She's been into acting. She's done cheerleading. She's basically a jack of all trades. She's done a lot. Kat, thank you for being on the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
So why don't you give us a little bit of a backstory on what got you inspired into the fitness route, the gymnastics part?
Well, just growing up when I was younger, I pretty much dabbled in every sport you could imagine. But gymnastics really stuck with me. And so I did gymnastics my whole life. I was on the national team when I was 16. So I competed at the World Championships. I lived at the Olympic Training Center in Lake Placid, New York. So I've always been really big into fitness because of gymnastics. And went on to do dance in college and kind of never stopped.
So you were at the Olympics in Lake Placid. What was that like?
That was pretty grueling for a 15-year-old. I had to move away from my family, and basically we would go to school until 1 o'clock, and then we would just practice the rest of the day. So we lived in the dorms there. We trained until 9 or 10 at night and did it 6 days a week. So that was basically when I learned what hard work really was. Cause I had a Russian coach, and they ran my life. So that was when I was I thought I was working hard before, but now I get it.
So after gymnastics was over, you went to college, and how did you get sort of the acting bug? How did that happen?
I did acting. I dabbled in it when I was really young, and I kind of took a break when I was so focused on gymnastics. And then when I went to college, I thought, this is a good opportunity for me to get back into acting. Mm-hmm. So I started out as a dance major, but I transitioned over into theater so I could just kind of see if that was something I wanted to do. And I've kind of always done it ever since, just a little, here and there.
Now, I was looking through your IMDb before we did this podcast, and I saw she's been in a lot of shows. She's been in shows like Chuck, California Kitten, Mad TV, Make It or Break It, Disaster Date. What was your favorite show that you've been on?
Gosh, probably Disaster Date was really fun because we got to set people up on blind dates and basically punk them. So that was a lot of fun. I just finished doing a movie last year here in Texas, actually, Support the Girls. That was really fun, getting to work with Regina Hall, Leah Del Ria from Orange is the New Black. And that was a really awesome experience, just getting to meet all those people and see how they work and all that good stuff. So it was awesome.
Have you ever been starstruck when you've been acting, or do you mainly keep it cool when you're meeting people?
I'm starstruck a lot of the time, but I keep my cool at the same time. I just kind of oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm working with this person, but I just kind of watch what they do and try to learn from it. Mm-hmm.
Like you said, you were used to working long hours in gymnastics, and acting can be a long hour thing where you're a lot more standing around, but you're still at studio maybe for 14 hours a day. Do you think that your gymnastics background really helped you kind of with the preparation and having the work ethic of acting?
Definitely. I think I learned at a very early age that there's no normal way, I guess, of doing certain things. Everyone has a different normal. And I think for me, that's always been, working out until the lights are turned off, or, being on set all hours of the night, or, whatever that may be. So it's really taught me to be flexible, no pun intended, but in my life, as well. So I kind of am always ready for whatever comes my way.
Mm-hmm. Did you ever have to use any of your gymnastic skills in any of the acting roles that you've had?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of my intro to acting, gymnastics helped me a lot. A lot of people are trying to get their SAG card, which is Screen Actors Guild, and it's really hard to do. But since I had the gymnastics background, I was in a movie called Spring Breakdown, where I was in the talent show, and I got my SAG card just from doing that film. So, and Make It or Break It, I got that role. I got a lot of my roles in the beginning because of my gymnastics, which led into other things. So definitely helped a lot because it's a unique thing that not everyone can do. So.
Now, one of the more impressive things that I saw on your resume when I was looking, you were a Dallas Cowboys cheerleader. What got you into cheerleading?
Well, so that's a good question. I'd always wanted to be a professional dancer, but I wasn't really sure in what realm that was going to be. And I ended up taking a break from acting. Like in my early 20s, I just was like, I would love to have a normal, normal life with like a normal, steady income. So I got into advertising for a while, and I was living in Dallas at the time. And one of my coworkers, he was every year the cheerleaders do a October halftime, the breast cancer awareness game, where they do the halftime show and all that good stuff. And so one of my coworkers was doing the halftime show with the cheerleaders, and I was so jealous that he got to go cheer and dance, and I was just thinking, I'm in Dallas, I should probably audition to be a Cowboys cheerleader while I'm here, And so I pretty much dropped I was still working, but I kind of started focusing on auditions, and I spent the whole year training, and I auditioned, and then I made the team.
So how was cheerleading different? I mean, you hadn't really done it before. What were some of the things that you were really surprised by when you started out?
It was so much harder than I thought. I mean, they make it look really easy, but their style was so hard for me. It was just very different than any other kind of dance I'd ever done. They have the show, I don't know if you've seen it, but it's called Making the Team, where they document the whole thing. That's not even half of it. When I was in training camp, if I wasn't at practice, I was in my living room, all hours of the night, my poor roommate, or at the gym working. So I had to work really hard to get their style.
So especially being a Dallas Cowboys cheerleader, I mean, that's the premier cheerleading group in the United States. I mean, it's Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders and then everything else down below. Did you guys, when you were in that organization, did you feel kind of that extra added pressure knowing that you guys were kind of the premier group of cheerleaders?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, you're walking around with the title of being America's sweetheart. We basically were always camera ready when we left the house. You're representing them at all times, and especially in Dallas, where it's everyone loves the Cowboys and the cheerleaders. So definitely a lot of responsibility. It's it's a big title to have to represent that team. So it was really good. It was an awesome experience. I learned a lot from it.
Do you think your acting also really helped you out? Because I mean, a lot of the times we see the cheerleaders, they have to smile and wave all the time and pretend that they're always, like you said, America's sweethearts. Did your acting really help you when it came to times when you're really thinking oh, I really don't want to be all happy right now, but then you're just oh, hey.
Oh yeah, I always go when I was auditioning. My theme was, or my little motto was, "Fake it till you make it," and I just kept doing that the whole entire time.
Do you have any interesting stories behind the scenes of being a Dallas Cowboys cheerleader? Were there any did you have any player interactions? Did you get to meet any of the players? Or I know you guys are restricted from being in a relationship or anything, but did you at least did they come over and say hi every once in a while?
It's funny because a lot of people are surprised when they find out we're not allowed to talk to the players. We would kind of joke about it and be just pretend they're an inanimate object.
Yeah, that's awesome. So another one of the things though too that I think is kind of tragic though is that they don't pay you guys nearly as enough as definitely as what entertainment you guys provide. What was that like? Because I mean, you guys work so long and so hard on some of your routines and even just all your practicing, and you guys are not making that much money. Does it just come from loving what you do then?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely did not get into cheerleading for the money. I got into it because I love performing, and it was a dream being on that, on the field at AT&T Stadium and having my picture up in the locker room. I think it's really awesome that there are so many women out there that are, working to get paid more. I think that's awesome, and power to them. I encourage that. But I also was happy that we made more money than any other really NFL team. We got paid a lot for practices and for appearances, and that was all new. They didn't used to get paid for those things. So I kind of was happy with what we did get, and just really enjoyed the experience.
Do they still let you keep the uniform, or do you have to turn it in when you leave?
We have to turn our uniform in.
I was going to say, because then you'd have a Halloween costume for the rest of your life then.
I know, right? I mean, I would be wearing it right now if I still I did not turn that thing in.
So, also another interesting fact about you is that I'm from Minnesota and you're from Texas, but you are engaged to a former Twins player, Ryan Presley. How did you guys meet? How did that relationship come to be?
Well, it's kind of funny because when I was, these are my doggies.
Hey.
They never miss an opportunity to be on camera. So when I was cheering, I actually, speaking of making money cheering, to make money, I started doing freelance social media. Mm-hmm. And one of the people that I was helping out with their social media was Ryan's agent. Mm-hmm. He and my friend had a side job mm-hmm. where they had it's called Phantom Weights. It's a baseball product for training. And so I was doing their social media. So it's actually Ryan's agent that one day he randomly, I had given up guys for Lent because I was sick of dating. And he's like, can I introduce you to one of my players? And I'm like, well, he doesn't count, he's in Minnesota, we're just texting, whatever. And we started texting, and then we started talking on the phone, and we just hit it off.
We'd love to hear first date stories. Where'd you guys go for your first date?
So this will lead you into the engagement story.
Okay.
So he actually had this plan we didn't meet for 3 months. Mm-hmm. So he had planned this date for this whole time. And what he did was he was in Texas for All-Star break. Mm-hmm. And he took me to this pond mm-hmm. by our house. And he had a picnic. It was the sweetest thing. Sorry about the darkness.
No problem.
I'm just trying to let these little dogs out. He had this plan forever. So he took me to this this pond by our house, mm-hmm. and we went on a picnic. And he had wine and barbecue and fishing. And so it was the most romantic date I've ever been on. It was the sweetest thing. So this year, All-Star break, he took me back to the same spot where we had our first date, and that's actually where he proposed. So. Oh,
wow. That's awesome. So what was your first impression of Minnesota when you first came up here?
I felt like everyone was hiding it from me.
Yeah.
Because it was the middle of the summer. It was just absolutely gorgeous. I'd come from, Texas, where it's 100 degrees outside. Mm-hmm. I didn't know that it was the land of 10,000 lakes mm-hmm. until I got there. And I'm this place is amazing. I can't believe I haven't heard about this.
Where did you guys stay when he was with the Twins? Because I'm from Bloomington. Did you guys stay in the Twin Cities area?
We stayed in Uptown.
Uptown. Oh, yep. I go to Stella's frequently around there. That's my place to go. But how was your first winter here? Were you ever here during the winter?
See, that's the thing is he worked Ryan had the best schedule going. Uh-huh. Because we'd have Minnesota summers, mm-hmm. and then we'd be in Texas for the winter, mm-hmm. and then Florida for the spring. So I didn't have to do a winter there except when we went for Twins Fest. Mm-hmm. And we didn't run into the very cold part of mm-hmm. the winter that you guys experienced. So
yeah. So you guys got the best of both worlds, basically.
We did. We really did. The Minnesota that I know is a different one than I think other people know because.
Oh. Yeah, absolutely. Well, yeah, just like the weather is here now, but you give it another 3 months and it'll be absolutely different. But how did you find the Minnesota accent? Did you like it?
It's different. I've never really known anyone with an accent like that before, so.
Oh yeah, yeah. I know. Yeah, I have people from all over the country on the podcast, and some of them notice it and then they comment on it, and then other people don't. But it's just the long O's that we
definitely pick up on your accent.
Yeah, the long O's that we like to pronounce. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Talk on the phone. Yeah. So when you were staying here, what would you say is the Twins organization when you would go to games? Everyone knows about the players' girlfriends or the wives club that sits together. Was there a similar thing for that for the Twins?
Yeah, we just had our section where we always sat.
Yeah.
It's very close in most stadiums mm-hmm. over by home plate.
Did it ever feel weird? Does it feel weird ever dating a professional athlete? Because growing up. To me, professional athletes just seem like a whole different race of people, they were just above everyone. And then to finally date one and kind of be in with their job and get in their schedule, do you ever kind of look back and be like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm actually engaged to a pro athlete? Does that feeling ever hit you?
The funniest thing about dating Ryan is he is such a down-to-earth, like, country boy. I think part of our relationships feels like the most normal relationship I've ever had because of who Ryan is. But it is weird. It is weird dating a pro athlete. And it's even more weird now that I'm back at home because I'm in my hometown, Houston, and I like see him. I mean, I'm like sitting on my parents' couch. I've always watched the Astros growing up. And so now when I see him on the TV wearing the Astros uniform, like, I feel like I'm in a dream that I never woke up from. It's like the weirdest thing.
Who are some of the wives of any players in Minnesota that you made friends of? Is there anyone was there any wives or girlfriends in particular that you became really close with?
Oh yeah, a ton of the girls. Like, I miss them so much. They're like family to me.
Yeah.
Sarah Garber, Renee Dozier, Buznitz, Michelle Buznitz, Sarah Duffy, and I became really close. Just a ton of the girls. They're all so sweet.
Do you guys kind of find that you guys kind of form that bond, that shared bond over you are the select few in the country that have like professional baseball significant others? Do you think that kind of like helped you guys form your little group?
Well, yeah, and I mean, we're kind of forced to spend a lot of time together because we sit through baseball, 9 innings of baseball. And then also, they're the only people that really understand my life, or, we understand each other's lifestyle, where I think it's, people that are not in our situation, it's kind of hard to understand why things are the way they are sometimes.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Ryan's a pitcher, so that means that he's not going to play every single game. So when it comes to seeing him, how many times a year do you usually go to the ballpark to see him?
Well, that's the thing about being a relief.
Yeah, you don't know. Yeah, you don't know. Yeah.
Is that you never know when he's going to go in. So I go to as many games as I can because I just never know. But the thing is, and I always say, like, I wasn't meant to date a starter because I'm always late. And so I come in at like the 5th inning or so. But so I've seen the second half of like hundreds of games.
Does it ever feel weird when like your fiance goes out there and people just like chant or they might say stuff? Do you ever kind of get like maybe like defensive if someone were to like boo him or someone were to say something? Has that ever happened?
Yeah, I definitely get defensive. I mean, I feel like the fans in Minnesota they're not too vocal, but like on Twitter, I get really upset, and it's hard for me to sometimes not say things.
Yeah.
Because people can be pretty mean on the internet.
It's just one of those things too where people don't realize that these athletes are just people too. They think that they're just something else, where then they don't realize that they have feelings too, and that it's just that's why whenever I try to tweet about sports, I only tweet about the organization. I never tweet about the individual players. That goes for the Vikings too. You guys have the Dallas Cowboys who've won Super Bowls, but you haven't. We have the Vikings where we just have to cry every year and just wait until next year.
You guys have been doing good though.
Yeah, that's true. But living in Texas, how great of it was that the fact that he got to come home? Did that really make your schedule a lot easier? How did that really help with the engagement plans, the wedding plans?
Yeah, I mean, it's weird how everything happens at once, but I mean, I miss Minnesota so much, and like I loved it there so much. But when I found out that he was coming here, I started crying because I was just like, it was so like something I did not expect and unreal to me. And yeah, my life is a lot easier now. Like, I can go visit venues. My parents are down the street. They've done so much to help me, like, get us moved in. And it's just, I know the city, so it's made the transition much easier than it would have been.
I just think it's so weird. I mean, in any other profession, you never switch that easily. And all of a sudden in baseball, just one day, you're gone. You got to go to Houston, and then you got to pack all your stuff up. How rough was that on you two specifically? Just one day you're living in Minnesota, everything's fine. The next day, we got to go to Houston. Was that transition rough for you guys?
Yeah, it was something else. I think some people, their names were in the trade talk for a long time, and Ryan's kind of came in at the very end. So I didn't really expect it to happen until like that day when it started to really heat up. And luckily, I had a friend. We were in Boston, and I had a friend from Houston, Nicole. She had just randomly visited me to come see the games, and I looked at her when he got traded, and I was like, Nicole, I don't care what you have planned next day. I need you. Like, you're coming with me. So Ryan was on a flight the next morning at 7 a.m. to Houston. Nicole and I flew to Minnesota, packed up, everything in the apartment, pulled an all-nighter, got in the truck and got the dogs, drove to Dallas, unloaded some stuff, drove to Houston, and then by that Tuesday we were in this new apartment.
Wow. So when we were messaging prior, we had a previous date, but then you had some wedding places to go and look to for a place to have your wedding. You don't have to name the place, obviously, but have you found a location for your wedding, or are you still searching?
I'm still searching, but at least I have an idea more of what I want now, as far as like what type of venue. I don't have a place yet, but I think we're getting closer. It'll be around here somewhere, though. It'll be in Texas.
Is it gonna be an off-season wedding then? Do you have any like dates in particular?
Yeah. Well, my favorite like holiday is New Year's Eve. If that happens to fall in off season, I think we're gonna do New Year's Eve next year.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So what would be if someone were to come up to you and say, who's also in your predicament when it comes to dating a professional player, what would be your one best piece of advice in order to make the relationship work?
I would just say go with the flow. Don't make a lot of plans. And just remember that off season's coming. It will come, so just hang in there.
Now, you can be completely honest because you're not with the Twins anymore, so it doesn't really matter. But when you're on a team when your boyfriend's on or your fiance's on a team that's going to be probably in the playoffs or run long, do you secretly not like that because you're not going to be able to see them for an extra month or so, or do you just root for them and you're happy for them?
You know, it definitely does shorten our off season, but since it's my hometown and since like I've never been in a playoff, I've never been in the postseason other than our Yankees wild card game, which was amazing. Like that was such a thrill.
Yep.
So at least this year I'm pumped about it. I hope we go all the way. Yeah. I mean, you can ask me again if this continues a few years. I'm like, okay, I'm kind of over it. I'm pregnant now, and
Well, yeah, I was gonna say then you'll have like a 2 month. Then you'll have a 2 month off season basically because most of these guys they get to training already in January and then they're kind of gone. But being a pitcher specifically, does it give you a little bit more free time though, knowing that maybe like days after he pitches, you know that he's not going to play, so that you guys can maybe schedule some other things? I mean, obviously he'll be at the game, but you know that he might not be like as tired afterwards. Does that really help when it comes to like scheduling going out and stuff like that?
No, because he's a relief pitcher, so every day is really the same, to be honest. I mean, we have our routine. I just kind of like enjoy our time together in the mornings. Yeah. You know, and because you know he could play, and he did with the Twins basically play every day. So it's like, you know, when we have an off day, we try to take advantage, and then off season is really when we get to like really enjoy our time together and, you know, get to do all that.
If the Twins ever got a cheerleading squad, would you have tried out?
I wanted to start one.
Yeah. That would have been awesome. I say, yeah, because everyone comments now about how baseball, you know, the viewership's down, the ratings are down. But I think if they just got to add stuff like the new jerseys that they sometimes have them wear, the new T-shirt, or like get some cheerleaders out there, that would definitely help out, and that would definitely be awesome. Did you ever did you ever go to the state fair when you were up here?
Yes, and I'm so sad that I don't get to go this year. That was like one of my favorite things that we did. Did
you get Martha's cookies?
Yes, of course.
Yep.
And I had a turkey leg and like all the food.
Did you ever have like at the ballpark, Target Field is very famous for having the walleye. Did you ever try the walleye?
Wait, no, I feel like I should have, and no one told me about this.
They had like a walleye sandwich or something. It's like the only place that ever had this because of the walleye's huge up here. But did you enjoy the lakes while you were up here as well?
Yeah, oh yeah, because we lived right by Calhoun, so I would like go paddleboarding in the morning, like when he was in the field. Mm-hmm. I like would jog around the lakes all the time. I would take the dogs there a lot. It was awesome. I loved having the lakes.
That's great. So I like to ask like 5 fun questions also in the podcast for people, and this is kind of a more like getting to know like thing. So I'll ask you 5 questions, and then I tally up the answers for most of these, and then I'll have like a list released, I think, when I reach a certain number of podcasts. But for our first question, what is your go-to workout song?
Ooh, it's probably Eminem, Lose Yourself. Mm-hmm. That one gets me pumped up.
All right. If there was one celebrity that you could train with, who would it be?
Like work out with?
Yeah.
Arnold Schwarzenegger?
Yep.
Obviously.
Yep. We've had so many rock people, but yes, finally we got Arnold on the board.
Oh, yeah.
If you were stranded on a beach with only 3 items, what would you have?
My dogs.
Yeah. Oh, we'll count all the animal and human people, like, but just 3 items.
Okay, well, definitely like my music. So my phone, I guess, my music. Gosh, really, music is the important thing.
A solar powered phone so you could call for help.
Yeah, I mean, it has music. It has my phone. It has call people. Snow cones.
Yes.
Definitely need some snow cones. So I'm gonna get hot out there.
Yes.
And something to write with, because I'm gonna have to journal all this, me being stuck on island this week.
Yep, absolutely. So for our 4th question, if there was ever a time for you to live in other than the present, what year would you choose, or what era would you want to live in?
I think I want to live during the Prohibition times.
Prohibition.
Wear a flapper dress.
Do the Charleston?
Yeah, do the Charleston. Definitely. I think that looks like a fun time to be alive.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's one of those times for sure that I have. If you were given the choice of having one thing to eat for the rest of your life, never having anything else, what would it be?
There's a hole in the wall restaurant. Mm-hmm. It's called Fing Ling, and they have cashew chicken there that's the most amazing. It's Chinese food. Mm-hmm. So my cashew chicken is what I would definitely live off of.
Awesome. So do you have any acting gigs in the future that you're getting ready for, or are you just taking a break? What's the status on that?
Yeah, I'm actually filming something this week on Thursday. Oh, Jim Parsons, I signed an NDA, so I don't think I can say too much about it, but Jim Parsons is producing it. Oh, wow. He's from The Big Bang Theory.
Yep. Sheldon, yep.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. So I'm shooting that on Thursday. Once I know more, when more info is released, I can tell you about it. So
I was going to say, you look like you could probably be like Penny's twin sister or something like that from Big Bang. So
yeah.
Do you still do some of the gymnastic stuff, or have you kind of taken a break from that? Or do you still sometimes use that in your workouts?
I do. I actually I work with this company called Psyche Truth. They are also a YouTube channel and a Amazon channel, but I do a lot of how-to videos with them, how to stretch and just things I do gymnastics wise, getting flexible and things like that. So I've been filming that. So gymnastics always creeps up in my life in one way or another. Mm-hmm. So I'm still doing some of that.
I forgot to ask, but can we see the wedding ring?
Oh yeah.
Oh wow, that's awesome. Did he go to Jared?
He picked it out himself. I didn't even help him at all. So
that's awesome. That's awesome. What else does the future look like for you? Do you guys have anything coming up? Any other things other than acting, or are you just resting and just watching him play?
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of trying to track through the rest of the season here to support Ryan, and like I said, the very beginning stages of wedding planning. So definitely staying busy as it is. So I'm trying to not look for anything else to put on my plate.
Yeah.
I'm trying to take things off my plate. No, absolutely. But things are good. It's a very good busy. I'm very thankful right now. So
absolutely. Well, we definitely appreciate you coming on. And then I have 2 questions that I usually like to end with. If you could speak to yourself 5 years ago, what would be the best piece of advice that you could give yourself?
Oh gosh, I would just probably say, don't worry, it's gonna be okay. Everything's gonna work out. Don't stress so much. Because I'm very hard on myself. Perfectionist. I always have to be doing more and more and more. So I would just say, just take a little breather. It's going to be okay.
And if there was any event that you could redo over in your life, would you do it, or would you rather or would you rather be happy with the experience that it gave you?
I'm all about live and learn. I will do anything that I can, knowing I'm probably going to fail. I'm a very strong believer in you have to fail to succeed, and I definitely have proven that over and over again. So I don't think I would change anything.
Yeah.
I would choose a failure for sure.
That's awesome. Well, I mean, we wish you nothing but the best in your wedding plannings. We wish you nothing but the best in this thing that you're shooting with Jim Parsons. Definitely keep us posted on that. We'd love to see where that goes. And again, Kat Rogers, I mean, we can't thank you enough for being on the show. It was really, really fun hearing all this insight. I mean, we haven't had a cheerleader on here. We haven't had someone in a relationship with a pro athlete. We really, really learned a lot. Do you have anything else that you'd like to say before we wrap it up here?
No, just thank you so much for watching, and thanks for asking all those great questions. It was fun chatting with you.
Oh, absolutely. Well, like I said again, Kat Rogers, you can follow her on Instagram. I can leave her link down below, and obviously root for the Houston Astros. If you're not rooting for any team this year, they're probably going to go a long way. And whenever you see a Presley out on the mound, definitely make sure that you're rooting for him a little extra hard. But this is DD on the Spot. Ryan Johnson signing out. Have a great day, everyone.